go to the tale of the tape between Daniel Jacobs and Caleb Traux. Tale of the tape brought to you by Corona, who invites you to find your beach. Daniel Jacobs, reach is even, weight for all intents and purposes is even. Jacobs been knocked down once in his career. Traux never been knocked down.
Set to make his way to the ring, fighting out of the red corner, Caleb Traux.
Caleb Traux, 25-1-2, 15 knockouts. Told us that no one's going to accuse his opponent of having a good defense. Them's fighting words, Jimmy.
They certainly are, and he said, hey, they can call him Miracle Man, but since his cancer recovery, he thinks he's been fed stiffs, hasn't had tough fighters. I'm a tough fighter.
Yeah, and by looking at him on tape, man, and for a guy to just stumble into boxing, he has a lot of God-given natural ability. I'm looking forward to this fight.
Got some Big Ten faithful, as you see that he has the Golden Gopher colors of the University of Minnesota, along with his trainer, Tom Halstead. We caught up with him as the fighters arrived here today to get keys to victory.
Tonight, Caleb needs to make Danny uncomfortable. He needs to push him back, be the aggressor, go to the body early, and take it into the later rounds if he doesn't get him out of there early.
Caleb Traux.
Now, making his way to the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, Daniel, the Miracle Man, Jacobs.
He's a champion for a reason. 28-1 his record, 25 knockouts, 86% knockout ratio.
Yeah, he has incredible power and champ. You talked about Caleb Traux stumbling into boxing. This guy, storied amateur career, big difference.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's the fundamentals that really that shows up in fights like this. A lot of times those guys that haven't been through that school, that amateur school, just don't have it.
One thing you notice about guys who learned on the job, who started pros very early, do not have the size toolkit of the guy who came up through the amateurs like you did, like some of the greats of all time did, like Daniel Jacobs did.
And you know where that toolkit is stored at? Right between your ears. And those fighters that can think in the ring, that have ability to make adjustments on the dime.
The corner man for Jacobs is Andre Rozier. Rozier's path to victory for his man this evening.
Danny has to be consistent. He has to utilize his jab and put the punches together, not forgetting combinations. Basically, he has to create some havoc in this ring tonight, and he will be victorious.
Live on Spike from downtown Chicago, Premier Boxing Champions is now set for tonight's co-main event, 12 rounds of boxing for the Middleweight Championship. Presented by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Mas Fina. We introduce the red corner first, wearing the maroon and gold. His professional record, 25 wins, 1 loss with 2 draws, 15 victories by way of knockout from Osceola, Minnesota. Introducing the challenger, Caleb Traux. And across the ring, the champion tonight fights out of the blue corner. He wears the red and white. Impressive as a professional. 28 victories, 25 by way of knockout with only 1 defeat. Hailing from Brooklyn, New York, introducing the defending middleweight champion, Daniel, the Miracle Man, Jacobs. And the referee in charge of the action, Dr. David Smith.
Fighter, step up. All right, guys, this is for a WBA belt. You guys both know the rules. Clean, fair fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you. Go.
Title fight, we will use the unified rules. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The referee or the doctor can stop the fight. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round. We go to the scorecards after 4. if an accidental foul would stop it. We are set to go. The first of 2 championship fights here on Friday Night Lights Out. PBC on Spike is live.
All right, fighter, you ready? You ready? Let's go.
Daniel Jacobs in the red trunks. The Minnesota Golden Gophers colors for Caleb Traux. Jacobs told us, I can box circles around this guy.
He thought Truax was flat-footed. He doesn't move. He doesn't angle. And Truax, on his part, the biggest name he fought before, the former world champion Jermaine Taylor, he said, I started too slow in that fight. I'm going to start a lot faster. We'll see if he does.
Yeah, that was a big name because Jermaine Taylor was 2-time undisputed super middleweight champion. Had a great win, 2 victories over the great Bernard Hopkins.
Jacobs telling us also that his mentality has changed since being a champion. He says he understands he's the prey. He's not the predator anymore.
You have to understand, when you get a belt, everyone you fight, this is the biggest fight of their career. Their dream is to be where you are.
As the fighters just kind of warm up here, let's tell the little backstory. You alluded to it there, champ. That Caleb Traux, kind of an accidental professional boxer. How the heck does that happen? Well, he was fighting amateur and he was rising up through the amateur ranks. Somebody looked in his background and said, you fought in a tough man contest one time. There was prize money involved. He lost his amateur status. He said even when he was a successful amateur, he really didn't have dreams of turning pro, but he had to because he was ineligible as an amateur. And here he is, a couple years later, fighting for a title.
On network TV,
right?
On PBC.
Right.
I'm a little surprised Jacobs isn't being more aggressive. You've talked about a lot, champ, when guys have fought on big lights, get in their head, get after them, remind them that I've been in big fights and you haven't. But Jacobs taking a little step back and kind of letting Truax establish himself.
Well, you know, he's a champion. He's a solid pro. So, you know, there's no need to rush. He knows he has time to get his job done. And you definitely want to go out here cold and get, you know, caught with a punch that, you know, maybe you just wasn't ready for. So this is definitely a fill-out round, and both guys are filling each other out. But I can predict it's going to heat up.
Let him go. Work out.
Truax told us that he can't afford to let Jacobs get off to the fast start, so he's content with a slow pace. And as you alluded to at the beginning of the broadcast here, that take it deep, let's test out Jacobs' stamina. And it looks like they've made it through round 1 without much damage on either side.
Let's go.
You gotta love the information and the game plan that Andre Rozier was giving his fighter between rounds. Stern instructions, and they were right on point.
Truax attempting to close the distance, it would appear.
What we're not seeing Truax doing is giving Jacobs an obvious target. Hands are high, good fundamentals, not giving any opportunities because he respects the punching power of Jacobs.
Come on, guys, break, break, break. Let's go.
As you watch our April bout here, PBC on Spike, we are thrilled about the card we have coming up in late May. Welterweight star, one of the greatest athletes on the planet, Amir King Khan, makes his PBC and Spike debut as he locks horns with Chris Algieri. Plus, the always slick Paulie Malignaggi steps into the ring with rising young talent Danny O'Connor. It's Premier Boxing Champions, Friday, May 28th at 9 p.m. Live and free on Spike.
Paulie's not just a commentator, folks.
Yeah, right.
He'll get in there and bang.
Come on, punch out of
The
there,
guy
guys.
to
Let's
your
go.
right is not just a commentator. Antonio Tarver, who found out he's going to be a grandpa of a third-generation fighter, perhaps?
Man, the brand is in good hands.
The brand is in good hands. Congratulations to you and your
Thank you.
family,
I appreciate
Antonio,
it.
on that good news. Midway through round number 2.
I have no children that I'm aware of. I just want to make that public record while we're talking about it.
On national TV.
Might as well. Just want to get that out there. Jacobs' trainer says combinations. That's what's going to be the hallmark of this fight. That's going to let Jacobs win. He's been content so far to throw one punch at a time. We haven't seen those combinations that he's famous for.
Yeah, he's going to have to definitely get warmed up a little bit here. This is his second round. And by the third round, we should see this fight come together and be as exciting, I think, as we expected. One thing about Jacobs, though, you can't take your eye off him because he has that dynamite power that can shut your lights out at any given time.
Yeah, with one shot. Also a spectacular body punch. We haven't seen that either. That's the kind of thing you want to put in the bank early. Yep. Haven't quite seen it.
Truax able to close the distance. Jacobs, though, locks him up.
Let's go.
Right hand by Jacobs. Elicits a positive response from Jacobs' corner.
Come on, punch
final
out, guys.
seconds.
Punch out, Caleb.
Countdown in round number 2.
Time.
Handful of other celebrities from the sports and entertainment world in the house. We'll be showing you some of those throughout the evening. Back into the action inside the ring. All right, are the warm-ups over, gentlemen? Is it time to start letting the hands fly?
Let's hope so. No, but to his credit, you know, Truax is not giving Jacobs a lot to work with. You know, he's not opening himself up. He's not being reckless. Everything is being timed and calculated. So you might have to, you know, give this guy a false sense of security to open him up.
Yeah, and also think what we're going to see is from the waist down. Is he going to cut the angles? Is he going to use his footwork to open up his offense? Because right now, Truax, like you said, isn't giving him anything. Now we're starting to see a little bit more angle, a little more activity from Jacobs.
Combination gets through by Jacobs.
Come on, guys, work out.
You can hear referee Dr. David Smith saying, come on, guys, work it out. Just a little footnote here. This is the first title fight for David Smith, our referee here this evening. He's only been in the fight game as a referee for 4 years.
So far in this fight, not a lot for him to do.
Sure, sure.
That shoulder pushing off.
Jacobs content to stand in the middle here at this point as Truax circles.
Jacobs talked about the flat-footedness of Truax, how he doesn't angle, he doesn't move, but we haven't seen him take advantage of it that much. They're pretty much standing in front of Truax this whole time.
The right cross got through, and he liked it enough. He tried to load up another, but missed as Truax jumped off the ropes. Bit of a jab fest here in round number 3.
I'm surprised Truax hasn't gone to the lead hook. One thing we've seen a lot of Jacobs doing is when he throws that jab, his right hand comes down toward his chest. We haven't seen Truax try to take advantage.
A lot of times you feel the guy's power and it just gets you gunshot.
Round 3 is over.
Advantage Jacob.
Yeah.
He's the champ. He's going about his business as usual. And he's not doing anything, you know, silly or making any crazy mistakes. So, you know, it's up to Truax to get this fight started.
And Jacobs has just landed the cleaner punches.
Right.
There haven't been a lot of clean punches, but the ones we've seen have been from Jacobs.
He's kept the fight in the center of the ring, and he's the boss in there right now.
So how does our unofficial judge see it? Steve Farhood has it. 2-point lead at the moment for Daniel Miracle Man Jacobs.
I'll agree with that first round 10-10, but I doubt any one of these judges
Yeah,
did.
exactly. You never see them, ever.
I'll let you get on the soapbox here if you want to, champ, without any big shots flying. If you just want to, talk about scoring anomalies in the sport.
Hey, I've been gave up on trying to score a long time ago.
I mean, the first cancer survivor to become a world champion. In fact, as the cameras move around from corner to corner, you might notice down the middle of Daniel Jacobs' back, he has a long scar. That's because the surgery that they did to remove the tumor on his spine was supposed to go through his chest. He said, no, doc, I'm coming back to fight. And if you go through my chest, I'll never be able to fight again. No one's allowed to hit in the back in my sport. Can you do it through my back? The doctor said, yes. We'll have to deflate your lungs when we put you under to access that tumor.
And I think he told us that his godmother or something instructed them to do it like that because she knew of the risk involved going through the front.
Yep. You can still see about a 7-inch scar. From this angle, it's a little harder to tell, but you'll see it at some point throughout the fight down the middle of his back, which he proudly shows because he said he wants this. He wants to be a champion, but he wants to make a difference.
And
to people who don't even like boxing at all, to inspire.
You gotta love that story,
right?
And he understands his position. So, I admire that from a young fighter that really understands it's not about himself all the time, that he's trying to do things that's gonna better others.
Action in the ring is heating up as far as Jacobs goes. He's throwing more punches, angling, and starting to grow in confidence in this fight, champ.
But if Truax want to win this title, he has to go for it. And he's not taking any risks right now.
Come on, work out, guys. 10 seconds.
Approaching the close of round number 4 for the middleweight title. Start round number 5. Truax extends himself. Didn't make good contact. The left jab did.
I got a puddle of sweat on me then.
That was right in our corner.
He did.
There you go.
Truax complained against Taylor. I started too late. We're in round 5. Is he going to turn it on now? That's the question. He needs to.
And with everything at stake, sometimes you just got to go out on your shield. But you can't say that you didn't give it your all. And a lot of times when a fighter leaves this ring and he feel like he could have done more, it eats at you, man, night after night.
Yeah, that is the worst.
Scott Hansen, pleased to be alongside Jimmy Smith and Antonio Tarver. Dana Jacobson, your host, upstairs here in the UIC Pavilion. You see all of our Twitter handles. No one is more active in or outside of the ring on social media than Antonio Tarver.
Oh, man, he's always on it. It is ridiculous.
He just sent 2 tweets in the time that I just said his name.
Come on, work out, guys.
And one of those tweets was imploring these 2 guys to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, true.
A little activity by Jacobs, following it up with a jab. Truax told us that he feels Jacobs is there to be hit. When he throws his jab, sometimes he thinks he drops his hand on return. Agree?
He certainly does, but we haven't seen that quick left hand from Truax to take advantage. We just haven't seen it.
There's a lot of things you can see, but you just can't pull the trigger. And then that's just a different level of fighters.
There was a snappy combination by Jacobs.
That's what we're starting to see. Like his trainer said, combinations. When he throws in bunches, that's when he's effective. He's starting to do that now.
And Jacobs will switch stances.
Oh, yeah, he said he loved fighting from the southpaw stand. There you go, seeing him now. He wish he can do it all the time, but he's a natural right-hander.
Tell me about the effectiveness in doing that mid-round.
I don't know if it's effective or not because he just got hit with 2 straight right hands. It might not be in his best interest to be southpaw right now. But if it makes this fight more interesting, by all means.
You're with it. You're with whatever makes it better.
There he goes back orthodox.
talked about earlier, Champ, which is if you have that amateur background, you can change it up, you can do different things, you can switch it around. Truax staying with the same game he started with, even though he's not winning rounds.
Nice activity here at the end of round number 5.
Those first 2 punches pretty much set up punches for the right hand that got in and got inside.
All right, Caleb Traux start around 6. Shows some aggression, but then eats a jab.
And again, we're in round 6. We don't know how these scorecards look, man. I can't really give Truax a round. He may need a knockdown to win this fight. A knockout, rather.
And Steve Farhood has it decisively right now for Daniel Jacobs. Almost called him Danny. He told us he doesn't go by Danny anymore. It's Daniel from now on, the more formal first name. Said a lot changed in his life in terms of perspective post-cancer.
No, I think he told us that he tried to get through the airport. Somebody had his name wrong. They had to reroute him.
So they were writing checks under Danny. They wouldn't.
Oh, that was the one. He actually said he did. Yeah, he had a check under Danny, wouldn't cash it, and that was it.
The end of Danny.
Yeah. Well, that's a romantic story too.
Great jab from Jacobs.
And now Jacobs active, pushing Truax back to the ropes. Can he do work here?
I mean, he should, because by now he knows exactly what's in front of him. He knows how much power Truax has. He knows his boxing ability. He should know what he can do to get this guy out of there.
Okay, Jacobs seems to be picking up the pace now. He seems to want to push the envelope.
And that's what champions do.
I also, you know, when we talked to him about going the distance, he said, hey, I understand those criticisms, understand those concerns. It's possible, pacing himself the first 5 rounds, to have the energy to push hard rounds 6 through 12.
As long as you're not losing those early rounds, and the champion has been in control thus far. But Truax is putting some leather on Daniel Jacobs right now.
Now in the final minute here of round number 6, I'm going to reiterate the fact about Jacobs as he comes back and scores there, that he hasn't been past round 6 since the cancer diagnosis and beating the disease. A lot of that is due to because he was knocking dudes out quickly, but even still, with 30 seconds remaining here in round number 6, it would appear that he's going to test himself this evening. And he, in so many words, alluded to, he kind of hopes Truax takes him a little bit deep. He wants to prove it to himself as much as anything.
But make no mistake, if he sees an opportunity to knock Truax out, he'll take it.
2 big shots with under 10 seconds left to go. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round, but it rings and will stop round 6.
Jacobs turning on, champ.
Oh, he did that, man. He closed that round tremendously and landed some powerful, powerful shots. We'll see how Truax respond in this round.
And can Jacobs stack on some points here at the beginning of round number 7? Deepest he's ever gone post-cancer.
And Jacobs told us that he wants to be the man in the middleweight division, man. If he's going to do that and put his name on the top of that list, he needs an emphatic finish tonight.
Great names at 160 pounds, not just now, but historically.
And guys, here he is at the beginning of round 7. He has switched back to southpaw stance. And then as I say that, he goes back orthodox. Take a look at the CompuBox numbers here through 6 rounds. As we would expect, Jacobs landing more and landing more accurately as well, 20 percentage points higher than Truax.
And that jab, that stiff left jab is doing a number on Truax right now. He's getting busted up bad.
He is. His face is showing it now. A couple more shots land by Jacobs. He presses Truax into the corner. Truax just holding on up against the shoulder of Jacobs. And he'll get a break for a moment.
Haven't seen Jacobs really, focus in on that body attack that he's noted for. I'm surprised.
Not at all. Could be one of those things where, hey, the jab's working, I'm going to stick with it. Those right hands over the top, he's finding a home for those as well.
You see at the corner of your screen, internet sensation Kimbo Slice finally steps into the Bellator cage to settle an old score with MMA legend Ken Shamrock. How about those two names? Plus, featherweight world champion Patricio Pitbull puts his belt on the line. It's Bellator MMA, Unfinished Business, Friday, June 19th at 9 p.m., live and free on Spike. Well, you see the blood coming from the nose of Truax. That's not an issue there, but we think there might be a cut near his left eye. Right eye, excuse me, under his right eye.
Yeah, I can see
Champ, is that in anywhere in any location that could be difficult?
I'm trying to see it now. I haven't been able to see it myself, but it's not a gash. It doesn't look like it could be just a minor cut, but you know, any cut is a bad cut in boxing.
Sure.
Because it can open up with any punch or any jab or any continuous, you know, shots on it.
The good news is it's under the eye,
Looks to be
over
low.
the eye. Won't affect the vision if it does start bleeding.
Oh, and they trade quickly at the center of the ring. Both fighters connecting there with 10 seconds left to go in round number 7. Now it's the action we've been expecting in a middleweight championship bout.
That's when you know you got it.
That's
In
when
between
you know
round 7 and 8.
you're feeling good,
Right?
But his trainers say, hey, I want to see something special, so let's give the fans what they want, something special.
When we talked to his camp about this fight, they said the jab is the key that
Yes,
opens
it
the
is.
door. I think they feel that door's open, that Truax is responding to the jab, he's reacting to it. Now let's throw something behind it, maybe get this guy out of here.
Steve Farhood now with a 6-point advantage on his unofficial scorecard. Now Jacobs a little offering his chin there momentarily, trying to set up something.
And there you saw Truax, you know, he was gauging him and lining him up. Sometimes fighters have to be set to throw good shots, and that's why he's not able to get off as much as Jacobs.
You just saw it there, champ. He's cutting angles when Truax can't throw. He does throw, doesn't have the power behind it.
And sometimes you just got to let him go. Without the power, you'd be surprised if you throw 2 or 3 shots. Which one to catch a man? The one punch you don't see.
And he switches stances again, does Jacobs. Look at that, in between breaks, he went from southpaw back to orthodox. We just may see that out of Anthony Durrell coming up in the main event tonight as well. He's a fighter known to do that.
I'm always leery when I switch because, you know, I actually was taught conventional. When I first started boxing, I taught myself southpaw, but I'm afraid because every time judges see you switch, they think that you're either in trouble or you're confused or something like that. So I'm leery about that all
That's
the time.
interesting. Truax's face reflecting the punishment he's taken so far into the 8th round.
Let's not forget, a wounded man is a dangerous man.
Sure.
Remember, he floored Jermaine Taylor in round 9. Late
Yep.
in the fight, he has power late. Jacobs cannot sleep on that ability.
But he must feel, Truax must feel that this fight is slipping away from him and that he's going to need to do something significant if he want to change the tide. Jacobs is just too comfortable in the ring. He's just too comfortable. He's moving when he wants to. Truax is not cutting the ring off.
And the seconds count down. We'll go to round 9. Round number 9 for Jacobs, who said, now let me ask you this, Antonio and Jimmy. The two facts about this fight. Amazing knockout ratio for Jacobs. Truax has never been knocked down, ever. Does ego come into play at some point where Jacobs might do something to overexert himself, overextend himself to keep those type of things alive? If he knows he has this fight, if it goes to the scorecards.
I mean, he's a champion, and also he wants to become a superstar. So in order to do that, you have to perform. You have to impress. And, you know, that's a stamp or a feather in his cap if he can knock somebody out that's never been knocked out before.
Yeah, that is huge, but also there's that added bonus of I didn't just knock him out, I knocked him out late. When people said I wouldn't have any power, when I wouldn't have any gas, that might be a factor too, because power punches, everybody says you land more than 50%, you're walking away with the fight. That's what he's doing right now.
Speaking of power punches, I want to let you know the fighters are actually wearing sensors. Tiny sensors about the size of a postage stamp around their wrists. We can measure the speed of their punches and the power of their punches. It's a new technology to the sport of boxing. We'll be unveiling it in the weeks and months ahead here on Friday Night Lights Out, PBC on Spike.
I get the feeling that if Daniel really wanted to push this thing and close the show, I think he can. I mean, it's nothing Truax is doing that's stopping him from hitting him.
And there's nothing he's doing differently than he did in the first round. I think he's got a read on Truax's style, and that toolkit we talked about, we're seeing Jacobs much bigger. Got a tweet from Will Brooks, a lightweight champion in Bellator, Chicago native. Says, I want a Bellator here in Chicago. I want to fight in front of these fans.
Cameras are here. Announcers here. All right, and now, again, Jacobs goes to sticking his chin out there, trying to bait Truax into something. Solid uppercut.
We haven't seen that desperation, that aggression from Truax. Like, this is slipping away and I have to do something. We haven't seen it fighting the same pace he did in the first round.
Well, we're getting into desperation time here as the final ticks come away from round 9. Steve Farhood agrees. Every round for Jacobs, save the first, but Steve scored it 10 apiece.
I can just about guarantee you an even round is going to go to the champ.
Most definitely.
There was a shot that connected by Truax. He's got him up against the ropes here, but he can't keep him there. Jacobs wrestles his way off.
Very, very important to have good legs, man. It keeps you in and out of trouble.
Very true.
Looks like the champ is taking this round off. He's not really asserting himself. I'm not saying that he's losing this round.
Truax is the one who's come before. Truax is the one throwing punches. Important to note, Jacobs never been past the 10th round.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it is not.
There's a couple of shots that connect by Jacobs.
And he might
now he might have Truax in trouble.
There's the body shots that we've been missing from Jacobs. He's a beast inside to the body. Oh,
Truax answers back with 2 rights, an uppercut, and a right cross that connected on Jacobs, and Jacobs comes back.
Good stuff from Truax, coming forward with the right hand.
Jacobs says, bring it.
Fight has broken out in round 10.
man, Truax shouldn't back up right now. He's landed some of the best shots he had. He needs to stay close and let his hands go when Jacob punch. It's one thing to have if you're a champion, there's some good whiskers. It looks like Jacobs got a set of good whiskers, man. He got a good chin.
Ate some good shots, came back, throwing his own. All you can say is it's the combinations. When he throws in bunches, man, he's effective.
Yes,
he really lets his hands go.
Jacobs nodding in agreement. The fight is on. And round 10 comes to a close. We'll stay here. That's about the equivalent of being hit with an 85-mile-an-hour fastball in baseball. Hello. Anything over 700 pounds of force is considered a knockout type shot at this weight class.
And he wore it well and kept fighting.
Yeah, he did. He certainly did.
And we pointed out, man, he has a good chin. He didn't even see that punch coming, and he took it.
I just wanted to say that I talked to physicists before.
It's a big deal.
Match.
It's a big deal. Big deal.
Now, what Daniel Jacobs can't afford is to give Truax any type of confidence right now. He can't give him no good action now. Because if you get this guy confident, there's no telling how he's going to finish this fight.
Right. Let him go, Caleb. Let him go.
You guys been watching Lip Sync, the new hit show here on Spike? Last night, Iron Mike Tyson pushed it really good. Well, this Thursday, my guy Stray, NFL legend Michael Strahan is going to keep the hits coming when he battles Today's Show host Hoda Kotb. New lip sync battle hosted by LL Cool J. That's Thursday, 10 p.m. on Spike. Back to the fist and face sync in the ring.
Very good. Yeah, my boy Stray. That was good. That was a good drop. Good name drop. I like
pro
that.
football guys.
I call him Stray.
Yeah. Oh, good slip there by Jacobs.
What we've seen is good jabs in the first half of the round and then power punches in the second half, but then some good right hands early. And once again, upstairs with that left hook.
Beautiful counter shot. You saw he rolled with the over the right hand and came with a three-punch combination. Beautiful.
Final minute of round number 11, scheduled for 12 in the middleweight championship bout. Has it been a championship performance to your liking so far?
He's definitely controlled the action, but if it was me, I'm definitely going to try to push for the knockout. A lot of times the fighter, they move out of position. And, you know, Daniel, I think it's moving a little bit too much. And he's not giving himself those opportunities when he's standing close, throwing those hard shots.
What we haven't seen from Truax is plan B, plan C. Hands high, plotting footwork, lend the occasional right hand, but no sense of I'm going to change it up and do something different. And Jacobs is the one who's able to do that.
Yeah, and that's what you said earlier about that too, Shed. He just don't have those abilities.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Jacobs has controlled this fight. Daniel Jacobs has proven he can perform at a championship level. And now he has proven, or can prove, he can take a fight the distance in a 12-round match. Something he said he wanted to do. He knows people were doubting.
It has been a wipeout on the scorecards. Truax has not found his offense, an occasional right hand, but no, what you call, consistent, effective aggression, champ.
Yeah, he's definitely the aggressor, but he's definitely not effective. I mean, Jacobs has controlled this fight from the onset. But every fighter still yearning for that knockout. So he's run out of time, though.
What you don't want to be is where Truax is, where the champ can literally dance his way to the end of the fight, does not have to engage you if he doesn't want to. You're trying to use your footwork to corral a guy who's been moving around the ring this entire fight.
His only defeat as we mentioned in one of the early rounds 5 years ago. And even that defeat, you could look at it as a mitigating circumstance. In his camp, his grandmother, the woman who raised him, died during his training camp. And he said that did emotionally affect him. Fighters don't like to make excuses. As we stop for a moment, the mouthpiece out.
Way to put in your coach. No coaching.
Let's not forget, Dmitry Todorov, one hell of a fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Career cut short because of a back injury, but an outstanding fighter.
Pirog with a 5th round TKO back in 2010.
Whoa.
Two good shots, and now Truax is in trouble. They're going to call it a knockdown that he was up against the ropes. They'll call it a knockdown and count to 8.
6, 7.
I agree with that call. I think it was just the ropes holding him up.
Yep.
Put your hands up.
And that's one thing about Daniel, like I told you, man, he can turn your lights out at any given time. That was a beautiful 1-2-3 combination.
Jacobs with a chance to close the deal and keep his knockout ratio sky high. Can he do it? The crowd implores him. 2 more shots land on Truax. He's up against the corner.
Referee's
He's
looking
in
for an
deep
excuse.
trouble. Bombs away for Jacobs. Dr. David Smith, the referee, thinking about it.
There it is.
Bombs away, and it is over. Daniel Miracle Man Jacobs with a 12th round knockout.
You talked about finishing it out like a champion, champ. That's exactly what Jacobs just did.
Man, that was a beautiful performance. He had control of the fight, the entire fight, and he finished like the champion that he is. What can you say about Daniel Jacobs?
Wow.
That was a perfect statement. I can go the distance, but I won't.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, the in comes 2 minutes, 12 seconds into 12th and final round for the winner by TKO and still middleweight champion, Daniel the Miracle Man Jacobs.